Lastly, and this is why we're all here, is dependence. Guerrilla social media marketers are dependent. They're not independent, and to a large degree, they're not competitive. They find ways to develop fusion partnerships and connect with others. And what they realize, as a good marketer, will realize that our goals are way bigger than our network. Our ambitions and our timelines far outpace our own personal capacity. And so guerrillas understand the need to be dependent on other entrepreneurs developing fusion partnerships and connecting and collaborating. Because if I've got 2,000 Twitter followers and I want to get a message out, but I need to really get up to 100,000 people, can I connect with those relationships with 20 people to do that? The answer is yes. It's a lot quicker to do that than to build 100,000 followers. And so finding opportunities and ways to connect with other individuals, complementary, sometimes competitive businesses. A good example of competitive businesses is Stephen Jagger now. Some people, and I was talking about social media marketing, he was talking about social media marketing, people said, why would you guys partner? You're crazy. You're just giving each other your notes. You've opened up your networks. Are you nuts? We wrote a book together. We promoted the heck out of each other. And both of us are busier than ever on the speaking circuit. Because there's a whole bunch of people who are tired of hearing me talk. And they got to see Steve, and vice versa. They liked us together. And it was something unique. And a brand was created that strengthened us both. And so where you look at someone traditionally as a competitor, providing they share your values and your ethics, which is really where Steve and I started, is that was in common. Beyond that, find ways to collaborate and compete and be dependent upon your community and your fusion partners. And really that's how you can leverage your environment. Is that now it's not just you and your tribe, but you plus 50 tribes that you're connected with. And that's one of the major secrets of ramping up and leveraging yourself in social media. So, to wrap it up here quickly, I would have loved to have 100 books here, maybe 200 there aren't, but some other people have those ideas too. Their names were Chapters, and Barnes and Nobles, and Amazon. And we printed the first 5,000 books. Talking to the publisher, I said, what's a good goal? They said 10,000 in the first year is a good goal. Just before the day we were supposed to launch, the books were gone. So it already went to the retail system and they were gone. We printed more and they're on the way. The whole point is, I'm pretty excited about it. But there's no books available. So you're going to be quicker to go to Amazon.ca and buy those books or Chapters. Or if you want, you can wait a little while when I have them in inventory another 3 weeks or so. But that's where you can pick up more in the book. Now, if you don't want to read the book yet, but you want to learn more about the content, Guerrilla Social Media HQ is your best place.com. You're going to get some free chapters, both in audio and PDF, some videos. You can go on there and ask me questions and just talk to each other about it if you like. And also connect with our Facebook page. Lastly, I'm on Twitter, probably more often than my family would like, but you can tweet me most times of the day and I'll respond pretty quickly. And that's how you can learn more about what I do. So wrapping it up, guerrilla marketing, just as a discipline, is not necessarily the easiest discipline to market. There are easier ways to market. You can spend a few more dollars, you can hire a few more people, you can have a bit more waste. You can take a bit longer to get there, or you can get there and not know how you did it. And those are some other ways to market. But looking at the principles of guerrilla marketing and guerrilla social media marketing, is not the easiest principles, but if we fully commit to and apply all of them, you really can't fail. It is a discipline, but it is a discipline that will take. And so I'm looking forward to hearing your feedback on it, the book, and also any questions you have right now. Thank you.
Yeah, I was going to just say, any questions, now's your chance. So.
When's the audio book coming out?
The audiobook, I'll talk to my publisher about it. It'll probably come out around the same time as the Kindle and the iBook and whatnot. So I would say it better not be more than 60 days. Yeah. Any other questions? Thoughts?
Should I get Twitter while we'll about one for iPad?
That would be the iBook, right? The iBooks, yeah. So that will be the iPad will be there. Yeah. Any other questions?
Guys, you're never going to get a chance to talk about this again.
No.
Thank you, Golden. Is everybody knowing what he's talking about? You must have some. Who's not on Twitter yet? Who's new to social media? Okay, so with a lot of this, is there anything that lost you at all?
5 pages of notes later. There was one where he said, he went on about 5 different things. Let's see where it is.
5 different things.
It really went in a really good rhythm.
Yes.
And then it summed up everything. And I wrote the first 3 and then missed it.
Okay, which one? These were the steps to gaining consent?
Nope. It was something you were...
Okay, well,
what do you say to the people who are, you know what, social media is a fad?
Yeah. Well, I think that's almost, that's read sociable.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I'm sorry, that's wrong. But total. A big part of social media is a fad like the telephone was a fad. I mean, social media is a fad like the internet was a fad. Social media is a fad if you are marketing the way you are and you're retiring in 2 years. You can afford to treat it like a fad.
Yeah.
But if you plan on being in business for the next 5, 10 years, it's not a fad. It's greatly affecting the way you're doing business. Your competitors are using it, and these are tools your customers use to communicate. And if you don't use them to communicate, guess what? You become irrelevant. If there's 500 million Facebook users out there now, there are 100 million people on LinkedIn representing every Fortune 500 company. There's 150 million people on Twitter. You know that Twitter produces 1 billion tweets a month. It's only really been in full operation for 3 years. Okay? Now, email's been around for over 25 years, and it produces 30 billion messages a month. What's the difference? 0 to 1 billion in 3 years. And the growth curve, I mean, Canadians spent 3,700% more time on Twitter this year than last year. So we look at these things, we look at these stats, and when someone says to me, oh, my customers aren't on social media, the answer is, yes, they are. And if they're not today, they will be tomorrow. And it's just that you don't know how to find them. So let's be honest, you know they're on there, but you can't figure out how to connect. And that's okay. That's what, Guerrilla intelligence tools are for. Go ahead.
It seems like it's a lot of work. It's a big, overwhelming task. Where would you start?
Great question. So I would say really most importantly is starting with your headquarters. Your headquarters take a while to build. So if you're building a blog, it might take hopefully not more than a month, but it might take 3. But you got to build those headquarters, and you got to get used to sharing your thoughts. Some people say blogs are again passé, or Twitter and Facebook and LinkedIn. More people spend time there, but remember they're going to go back there to dig deeper and learn about you. That's your identity. That's where your values for your organization lead through. That's where you capture people's email addresses and get them to subscribe to various means. And so I would say the first place to start really is understanding blogging. And you don't have to be a brilliant writer. In fact, my long 800-word dissertations on the economy get like 1 person visiting them. But my list that's, top 10 whatever, that's took me 4 minutes to write, get, 300 visitors in the first day. So it's really not about brilliant content. I hate to say it. Another thing that Jay Levinson says is that mediocre, consistent will be brilliant once every time. And that's good. Mediocre consistently, and we'll do it. And so the consistency is actually rare. It is very rare. So start with a blog, and then start with a couple, 1 or 2 of the social destinations that your clients are on presently. So a good place in the business space where you're safe is to get into LinkedIn. But amp your profile up, man. Add those videos, add some engaging content. Really amp it up. Use all the applications you can. But a couple places I would start. If you're in the business-to-business space, start with a blog, a LinkedIn account. If you're in the business-consumer space, I would really think about a blog and moving into a Facebook page or a Facebook account to really start the market.
You mentioned Facebook page, like there's a profile, there's a page,
yes,
and then there's groups,
yes,
right?
Yeah.
I guess you should have all 3.
Or again, we start off with, it depends on what you're using it for, but I would say, you need a personal Facebook profile. It's going to be up to you whether or not you want to use that for business. I'd say if you have more than 100 people, you're kidding yourself that your message is personally isn't getting out to your professional network. Because it is. But somebody you got to make a decision. And then you need a Facebook page for your business. In particular, Steve and I have one for our businesses. We have one for each of our products as well. So we've segmented it further. I'm going to start off with one for your business and one personal one. A good place to start.
Going to start with groups over the day.
Groups are good for nano marketing. Because today now, the Facebook group is more of a collaboration tool. And so the nano market would be, for instance, me going, okay, I'm going to start a Facebook group for social media professionals in PR. And it's only 12 of us that I'm going to communicate with, but it's going to be very specific and intimate. And then I might go off and create a social media group for realtors and like just them. And so this allows me to create these little nano markets that collaborate. So that's what I would use groups for. And then pages is just my storefront. So start with a profile.
A question from Kelly Starr in Calgary right now. He's live on YouTube.
Watching. Yes.
He asked, what 4 major platforms do you recommend and how often they follow them updated? How many hours per day do you recommend spending on social media?
Sure. So number one, the major platforms, like I said before, depends upon where your market is. If I'm a realtor, I'm thinking a blog. I'm thinking YouTube. I'm thinking Twitter, and then I would think LinkedIn to connect with high net worth professionals. So that would be the ones that I would suggest. And then how often do I update them? A blog a couple times a week is a good momentum. You can do a couple times a week for momentum. And it depends. Like I'm traveling between time zones and flying on planes, and a couple times a week is a stretch for me when I'm on the road. As a realtor, we've seen realtors who update every day, and it only takes 3-4 minutes to post a video. So, and how often should you spend on social media? My big push is to make it part of what you do. So versus sitting down in front of the computer going, this is my half an hour, I'm carrying mobile social media weapons. I've got my iPhone, video cameras on. What I'm doing is, instead of sitting down and creating content, I'm taking a picture, or I'm recording something while I'm watching something, and I'm actually creating content. Or I'm waiting for a customer in their office, and I'm doing a quick tweet in between while I'm waiting for them. Exactly. Or then, or something on lesson I thought of, or interaction had somewhere. Or it may be, I'm at a customer's office, or I work for Ford, and I see a customer does something really cool, and they're trying to connect with you. So what I do is put my camera and go, would you open the interview with you when you guys down at the table? So you're already a client's office. You're not devoted real time to it. You're just now getting in the habit of creating content and sharing it. And that is the key, is creating unique content and sharing it consistently. So make it part of what you do versus worrying about how often you do it, how much time you spend on it. Yeah, real estate